We're making dreams come true today.
It's for the kids. Milwaukee Pipeline 2025. It's the Between Two Wrenches podcast. I'm Cooper. That is Phil. We are hanging out with Jeff today. Luckily for us and luckily for Jeff, we had a chance to meet last night in a pregame warm-up session we call beers. Beers on the patio.
It was quite a nice night for beers on the patio.
Welcome, Jeff. Welcome to the show. Thanks for having us back down here in Milwaukee.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. So we kind of talked a little bit about this last night, but obviously the audience was not paying attention to that conversation. So how long have you been a part of the Milwaukee Tool family?
Yeah, so I have been working for Milwaukee for 12 years. Mm-hmm. I've had kind of a unique path here. I started in sales in Kansas City, working a lot with the farm community, which was really, really helpful for me. Learn how to sell grease guns and impacts and, haggling with the farmers out there. Really fun way to start. And then really the last 10 years, I've been up here in Brookfield working in marketing. Couple years on the channel marketing side where I worked in the automotive space, really in the early days. Good space. Yeah. You guys might be familiar.
He's a fan.
Yeah.
Fan number one.
Yeah, kind of the early days there where we were kind of figuring things out, and then the last 5 years I've been in product marketing. Covering ratchets and rivet tools now. It's been great.
It's one of the things that we notice when we have conversations, like we were here at Pipeline last year and then out at SEMA last year as well. Longevity seems to be a thing here. Like when you never hear somebody who's like, I've been here for 6 months. There's 12 years, and we've people that spoke today that have been here for 20 plus years. Like, what do you think it is about the culture here at Milwaukee Tool that just kind of gets you up every morning and keeps you coming back to do it again?
Yeah, for me it was the people.
Yeah.
I moved from Kansas City to Milwaukee. I really didn't know a soul here, and really just getting plugged in with a bunch of other really energized and excited people in the marketing department, and we've developed a culture where if you need something, yell across the cubes, or if you're in the office, if someone's going out on research, there's always like, let me go with you, let me go tag along on that. So easy to plug in on immediate friend groups that way. I officiated another person in marketing's wedding off of working here. Had a couple guys in my wedding. It just kind of happens that way, and that kind of influence and that kind of excitement going into work, it makes it just an awesome place to be.
When it doesn't necessarily feel like work as much then.
No.
It's you get to do something that you enjoy and love, and then one thing kind of falls into the other, having a bunch of friends around.
Yeah. Next thing you know, it's 12 years later, you're on a podcast.
Man, have we made progress or what? 12 years later, we got a podcast going on. But we've noticed that when you got a chance to tour the facilities last year coming out here, that everybody seems to be like pointing in the right direction. Everybody has an understanding of the goals that are ahead. They use the word roadmap a lot, in some of the speeches that we had today. But it seems like there's this continuity inside of the building, and I'm sure that goes into the marketing as well, and down to the engineering and product dev. But everybody's on the same page, it seems like, with the same attainable goals, and it again must make coming to work like energizing, because you're all like on the same page and there's no arm wrestling or anything that happens.
Right.
Well, maybe there is arm wrestling. You never know.
Afterwards, happy hour.
Right. Yeah, it's helpful where it's not so complicated if you say, hey, every tie needs to go to the user, right? Like if you're stuck in a trade-off discussion with your engineering team, if it goes back to how, tell me out every single way that this will affect the user, pros and cons, you can steer that clear path much easier. And the only way you do that is to say, I need to make a priority to spend as much time in the field as I can, so that when those questions come up, you're ready for them.
Yeah, solutions.
Yeah,
Innovations. And they have solutions. So we have some tools out here in front of us, but tell us kind of what you're working on these days. What gets you up and keeps you driving?
Yeah. The ratchet space is a big one right now. We are announcing today our next generation of the M12 fuel ratchets. Ooh. It's a journey we've been on since 2011 when our first ratchet hit the market.
Wow.
But a lot of big upgrades since then.
Yeah. It's crazy to think it's been that long.
It's insane.
Because it feels like yesterday.
Feels like only yesterday.
Just
it
yesterday.
Does. Yeah. But to think that technology has been around and the developments in it over the years. What are some of the new things that the next gen has to offer?
It was super clear when we went to the field to make sure what we could do better. A lot of feedback on how can you make these more capable, add power to these, more breakaway torque. also how can you make sure that these can fit in as many confined spaces as possible. And then the fact that, you know, over the years we've had our high speed ratchets, we've got our high torque ratchets today, and we had a lot of people saying, hey, like, I don't really like making that decision. That's a trade-off to me, and I don't want to keep swapping sockets for, you know, power or speed. And a lot of that unlocked with our new motor technology here.
Okay.
So right
Walk
here
us through it,
this
yeah.
side right here, I'm going to reach for it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Get
really
it.
good for the
Show and
podcast.
tell is my favorite part of these podcasts.
Yeah, exactly, right? I had to bring something. So this is our outer rotor motor. So in comparison to the last generation, you can see much thinner. This unlocked a ton for us, not only just in the overall size, as you can see. It's going to be 8 millimeters in smaller width, which
Yeah.
really delivers a nice contoured comfort grip, but also making sure that we're going to have a lot more power density. So 20% more peak torque. I'm not going to get like a calculator out for you guys right now. I could.
So
Yeah, and
Numbers.
right.
carry the one.
Yeah. Well, what it delivers is this 3/8. It's 70 foot-pounds of breakaway torque, where the last one was high torque was 55. Now that last generation was only 200 some RPM, and this one's up at 400. So being
wow.
able to say you're going to be much faster to, you know, spin off the stuff that's light, which we know is a lot more percentage of, you know, what's on a vehicle, but then having that back end torque for the really rusty stuff. You guys are up in Eau Claire. I'd imagine you've seen a little bit of rust.
Yeah.
That's all we
It's a
deal
prerequisite for any vehicle that comes to the
Yeah.
shop. Pre-rusted.
Right. So this is, we think, that best combination of power and speed, and then making sure that we are still the most compact in the overall head size and body size now as well. Again, just to get into more places. You know, trying to remove hand tool from the equation wherever we can, and then the same thing with pneumatic air hoses, trying to get those out of the shop
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, no, we went, well, not completely airless, but in 2023 we did a massive addition on our shop, and airlines were like 6 months later. We were like, well, yeah, maybe we'll run one, but you know, and then even the
I think it's still coiled up. I don't think it's
Yeah.
ever been used. It
Yeah.
looks good over in the corner.
yeah, I think
though.
Skylar just used it to blow off the fab table.
Yeah, that's probably it.
We hear that a lot. Like, oh, this is the last thing I'm using it for. This is some
Yeah,
forced air.
That and our Plaz
you go.
torch.
Yeah.
Sure.
But
Yeah, that's been a big thing for us, right? Anywhere we can eliminate the air hose in the shop is huge. You can think about manufacturing facilities as well. You can save a lot of money that way, but then as well, you're not worried about tripping over it.
Right.
And then just the fitment, you know, having that off the back of the tool can be a nuisance. We've heard that a lot, and so we're happy to, you know, take advantage of that, provide something that's going to be a better alternative.
yeah,
Yeah,
for
and,
sure.
and one of the cool things, and we've discussed this anytime we've had, you know, new tools that have come out, is Milwaukee's famous for never just coming out with something and then setting it down and saying, here it is. Here it is,
Yeah.
and then they're moving on to the next thing. There's always constant, you talk about communication in the field, getting into shops, like, is this working, is this not working, what makes it better? So even though this is a final product, obviously, it's sitting in front of us,
Right.
but it's not done. Like, it continues to innovate, it continues to solve and make solutions
Evolve,
for
yeah.
the end user, which is, you know, got to be exciting when you get to work on something that you can make it better if you're like, oh, that didn't really do what we wanted it to do, or this actually would help if it was a little bit smaller in this area, because you guys listen to the technicians.
Well,
100%.
well, just to throw a curveball out, is there anything that, like, in this design that you're like, man, we were really also hoping to be able to check this box too, but we don't have maybe the technology? Like, what are your barricades to making everything flawless?
Well, it doesn't have a
Right.
Bluetooth speaker. You know, I'm just
Right. Yeah. No,
Suggestions.
the stuff jumps off the page. You know, I think the biggest takeaway that I have is anytime that we deliver more power and speed into the market, that becomes the benchmark.
Yeah.
And so even after day one, people are like, well, could you do a little more? You know, my mine goes to, you know, heavy duty technicians, even more torque. You know?
Yeah.
And there's things like, you know, visibility. We upgraded the light on this tool. You know, can we continue to do that in the future? I'm sure we can. You know, there's a ton that I think excites people. You know, it starts with the productivity and it goes to the safety. I think, you know, when you think about people worried about busting their knuckles,
Yeah.
you know, we spent a ton of time on the control of this tool in both forward and reverse, making sure that we liked it and the field responded in kind. But you know, I think the sky's the limit for these. I don't think that we are on the final ratchet by any means, and that's what's exciting. You know?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you can constantly come back to it. You know, you keep getting that feedback. It triggers something, and you have those conversations with the engineering team or the R&D, and yeah, it's gotta be wild to see. And we're just seeing a snippet of it by being able to come down to Pipeline. We were on the tour last year, and we got to see a little bit of behind the scenes. But it is wild to see, as a consumer of the products,
Right.
when I walk into Fleet Farm or whatever and I see the massive display, it's like, oh my gosh, they just think of everything. But and it looks put together. But then when you see all of the work that goes into it, it's like, oh, it is put together. This is a well-oiled machine.
Yeah. What's exciting on the technology side for us too, and that's something that I try to do in my day-to-day is connect those dots. But when you're walking around, this is the first tool that we put this outer rotor motor in.
Outer rotor
That's
motor.
also very
Outer-
fun to
easy
say.
Outer
I've been
rotor
practicing.
motor.
Yeah. I was in here by
Last
myself
night, outer
before.
rotor motor.
How do you warm up for your? Well, I just say outer rotor motor.
Yeah.
Right.
10 times.
Loosens the tongue. Heave high, home, home. Yeah.
But when you're walking around the building with tech like that, we got other engineering teams, other product management groups that are kind of sticking around. Like, what do you got there? What's that delivering for you? Why did you go with that?
Right.
And so being able to say, hey, this is technology that I think is going to unleash a lot, and then proliferate it out there. We just happen to be the guinea pig on this one.
Does the new Stubby have the outer rotor motor in it too?
This does not. Just a different design of our BL36.
Okay.
And really, it's the same thing that we've been doing for the last 10, 15 years. It's just find that right Goldilocks motor for each tool.
Yeah.
And for this one, you think about the size of this in length versus the width of it.
Yeah.
Getting something with that nose to tail was shorter was feedback of the most prioritized length that way. And so we found, I think, the right mix there. But it doesn't mean that we can't cram that into a wrench in the future.
Right. Yeah. I was playing around with that a little bit. They've got a 5.4 Ford motor out there. They're like, take it apart. So I was messing with that a little bit. It's an impressive little tool. That's for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah, it seemed like quite frankly, something that we really wanted to do for a long time, but we were waiting for the right technology, not only just mechanism and motor, but electronics as well, to get something that power dense, that small. And really, the Stubby last year unlocked that for us. When I was in the sales field, our mid torque on the M18 line was 550 foot-pounds of torque, and Roosh was high-fiving about that. And we've got that on 12 volts now with the Stubby at 550. So when you think about that kind of power density on 12, and then you can apply that and have something at 250 that's way smaller.
Right.
Yeah.
It just starts to open doors, right? And if that becomes the tool that becomes that you reach for every single day, we feel like we're hitting a good mark there.
Yeah, absolutely.
There was a conversation that happened last night to shift gears a little bit that had this fella a little bit stumped. Because we got introduced to Jeff last night, again, enjoying the opening night of Pipeline. And, I'm Jeff, Ratchets and Rivets. And the look on Phil's face was one of trying to connect, circle,
Explain
square
this
peg
to me.
thing.
Yeah, I mean, ratchets and rivets.
Right. Cohesive, right? It makes sense.
No, I can't get there.
Does
Right.
not compute.
Well, I think the simplest answer I could give you is just that we look at those both as fastening tools. First couple years of my life, I worked on drills. So, very simple. Just make a hole. Very easy tool to make. And now I just put stuff together, or take it apart. But I think it just had that nice cohesion there to say, someone's got to drive this rivet category forward. We're excited about it. It might mean different things to different user groups, the same way a ratchet might. But that is about as cohesive as I can give you.
No, I guess, when you lay it out like that, I can see it.
Fasteners.
Yeah.
So are you in charge of, we use the Milwaukee rivet gun very often in our shop. So would that be a product that you've been involved in as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Another one that has like the perfect M12 mantra to it of just taking a hand tool application. Like I'm sure you guys have pulled a pop rivet once or twice in your life.
Yep.
I call it humbling for me. Yeah, it's not something I enjoy to do. It's a lot of strain on your hand. And so a perfect opportunity to take something that's that manual process, put it on a battery. That's the whole beginning of M12. And so it was a perfect thing to get us into that market. That 3/16 rivet gun, it has a lot of a fan base out there, and we're always looking for additional solutions to kind of expand on that where appropriate.
Well, and we've used that quite a bit, and sometimes the wear part on those, the mandrels, right? It just takes such a beating. Even that tool takes such a beating for pulling rivets. It's wild how it does it so easily, but it's just kind of crazy. You know? It's one of those fascinating things for me, and I'll use it, and I'll be like,
keeps him up late at night.
every time I use it, I just smile like, man, this is just awesome that
Yeah.
it works.
It's one of those quality of life improvement tools to me.
Yeah.
You know, even just onboard storage for the different mandrels is like something that people were like, oh, well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Great. Or being able to have something that you can catch and remove. It's just a nice little tool, but it makes us think, what's next in that category. And there's a ton of places we
Riv
can go.
nuts. Do you mess with those at all?
We hear that a lot.
Oh man, it would be so nice. Just saying. But I'll be one of those to add to that.
Yeah.
One
list.
more for the Riv
P1
nut.
research over here. Let me
Yeah.
just tell you what I need.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
We'll make a list after this.
Yeah. I mean, Riv nut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
High
it's-
on the list.
Yeah. It's,
a
really,
short list.
At least in that category for you.
Absolutely. Yeah. We've heard it a time or two, I'll say.
Well, and it's certainly in our space, automotive, we do a lot of customizing, and so it's just such a fantastic tool for us to be able to fabricate and
Yep.
install parts with, make changes. But yeah, sometimes that's the new bane of our existence.
Yeah. Well, friend of the podcast, Ryan Mack, who I believe you guys had on last
Yep.
year.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Also super tied in with the automotive space. We'll see what we can do.
All right. Maybe
Collaborate.
that's tonight's
Stop,
mission.
collaborate, and listen. The best ideas usually come after the happy hour starts here at Milwaukee Pipeline. You mentioned, moving up here to Milwaukee and kind of entrenching yourself in the culture here. What has this city been like? Not to get off of the tool topic, but the energy that we see when we come down here is inside of Milwaukee Tool. But it seems like there's been a rejuvenation, and maybe it's the Brewers, maybe it's the
Right.
is Giannis coming back to the Bucks. But it just feels like every time we come down here, the energy level is up. What it's like for you as a resident in the city.
Yeah. It's just been incredible, even just in the 10 plus years that I've lived here, just to see the growth of the downtown area. Just like you said, like the rallying around the sports team, it definitely helps. But there's a pride in this city and in Wisconsin in general. I'm sure you guys feel it in Eau Claire. As a transplant here, I subscribe to that as well. From Cincinnati, Ohio, originally, but again, a good historically German eating and drinking city on a body of water.
Stick to what you're good at.
Yep, I plugged right in. I was like, I think I get the deal here.
Another Great Lake.
Exactly. No, but it's just been awesome to see the city grow and quite honestly, Milwaukee Tool grow at the same time.
Yeah.
I got here, we had one smelly old building from the 70s. I love that building. I still work in that building, but
Side note.
but even to say that we were able to grow a 4-story building on that premises as well in the time that I worked here, and then across the street, and then downtown, and all of this, it's just awesome to see the amount of growth that comes with that, and so many new people to work with, and to be able to continue to keep that energy for the 10 years that I've been here. I've just been blown away. It's something we work on every day, but it's cool to see guys like you take notice of that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we haven't talked to anybody that has a different mindset or opposing, like everybody.
Even
I
off
don't-
mic. Even in shadowed corners of,
Right,
of
like,
bars
all right,
late at night.
all
they're
right,
like,
for real. Like,
"No,
what
for
are
real."
they? What Kool-Aid are you drinking?
Yeah.
And
Can we
no,
have
I
some?
just love it. Like
Right.
everybody's truly there for the greater good of the company, and you can see that in the growth that the company has done over the years. I mean, it's truly a leader. It is the leader. You set the benchmarks.
Well, it's awesome to hear from you guys as well, right? That's our goal, right? And as we look to kind of proliferate, it's taking the problems in the market, putting the solutions and applying them to tools, making that come to life, and then also just consistently saying, what's next?
Yeah.
How can we evolve with the market? Which just in this experience, like such a rapidly evolving and growing market, and our customer base is consistently demanding more of us, which is awesome because it gives us the agency.
Well, because you've shown them that you can do it. Like
Sure.
sometimes it's kind of like when you have a good idea, then you actually have to go and follow through.
Right, and you got to make it.
Right, exactly. And seeing that once the trades started to see, man, you guys are not just solving some of our problems, you're trying to solve all of our problems. So they just keep looking to you. Well, hey, you've been telling us how good you are and showing us. So keep going, don't stop.
Yeah. Ear to the ground. We talk about it all the time, making sure that we're always consistently out there. We've been spending a lot of time in shops. It's not like just because we're launching this week at Pipeline, we're like, all right, that's it for Ratchets for 3 years. We
Yeah.
Kick back.
Work on something
We
else.
did it.
We
right.
actually did it. Yep.
Fulfill
So
Phil's request over there in the old Rivet world.
there's always more to do
Right.
in all these categories, and that's why we need to make sure that we're always out in the field. less behind the desk, the better.
Yeah, yeah, and consistency. You don't have to change the world tomorrow, but
Right.
you guys are doing it certainly one tool at a time.
So we'll talk about Pipeline, but first I want to know, I mean, this is a huge event, obviously, for Milwaukee Tool, but you guys are at every event in every, different trade, from, being out at SEMA to the Concrete Expo, Milwaukee's all over the place. Do you have a favorite outside of Pipeline? We'll keep that in its own sacred place, but a favorite event to travel to and to be a part of?
It's tough. There's a ton. I love working with the mobile dealer network. So, if we're popping in and hanging out with, we do business with Cornwell, a good example of some good guys out in Ohio and beyond. But I have to pick SEMA.
Yeah.
I think just the energy there, the amount to go see and do, it's just a really awesome event. And so I feel like, he's picking the most visited one. But I think that's
Well,
my favorite.
maybe for our space, automotive for sure.
Yeah,
but there's also the big World Concrete Expo or whatever it is.
Yeah, also in Vegas.
Oh, it's in Vegas as well.
That's
yeah.
also
Yeah.
a
It's
massive.
phenomenal.
Yeah, I've never been, but you hear stories.
They don't invite us out to that one.
No.
No.
Stay in your
Yes.
lane, boys.
But to get back to Pipeline itself, I mean, obviously we've seen the growth of this, even in the short time that we've been able to come out here. But the energy, I think, is reflected probably from your day-to-day. Maybe you guys don't 1,300 people don't applaud for one another when they walk in the door on Monday morning. But the energy that is here and that carries out basically through the rest of the year until next Pipeline has got to be a cool experience to be a part of from the inside looking out.
Yeah, 100%. It's nice to hit the ground running as soon as we do one of these. Reflect on what we could have done better. That's a nice culture we have of a healthy of what can we celebrate here, but what else could we do differently? Like how is this received? How might we get better engagement? Maybe we put a car in the space and actually hopefully someone will touch it. There's
Or Phil will take the whole thing apart. We don't know.
That's the dream, right?
That is
gonna
my
happen.
that is
It's
my
actually
dream to happen.
I love it.
Reality.
It's just so fun because we have this, I'll call it a playground out here.
Yeah.
And I do feel like a teacher pulling you guys away from recess to have this podcast. We're very early into Pipeline here, so I'm sorry about that. But hey, it's just fun that we can, put our own creative spin, and it's a big team with a lot of creative minds that puts it together. And just to see it come together like this today, it's exciting for us. It's a big day for us.
Yeah. And I'm sure the prep work that goes in, from every single team to be involved and getting a cadence down, and it's something that probably takes the whole next year to plan for the next one. But it's an honor to be a part of it, and with all the great people from all the different trades that are here, being able to tell the story of Milwaukee from Milwaukee is pretty cool concept.
I love it. I mean, you guys are getting the red shirt day today, but there's a lot of more sweaty, less red shirt days to get to here. But it's just great to see, especially new faces. We've got a lot of new presenters this year. To see them from taking a concept maybe 2 years ago to showing it to the world, and it does kind of feel like your baby at that point, right? So it's cool just to see new people get this experience as well.
Yeah, and even from your team standard, like the year that we've come and gone here, like we've seen people get elevated in their positions on their teams, and now they're kind of training that next generation of employee to handle the hands-on stuff, to really to be out there and be forward. So it's cool to watch. We're just looking at Leah, and she said, I don't have to do the thing I was doing last year, and now I'm eyeballing these other folks to do it. So
she's
really,
got a whole army out there.
I know.
Yeah.
Team Automotive, we're here for it.
Love it.
Well, Jeff, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We're not that upset that you pulled us away from recess. We'll go back to the playground.
I'm excited to get
Phil's
back.
going to go back and tear that whole engine apart. Ain't got no gas in it. You're going to be fine. But we appreciate it. We look forward to hanging out the rest of Pipeline. And thanks for coming and chatting.
It's been awesome, guys.
Ratchets and rivets with us.
Ratchets and rivets.
Sweet.
Thanks, guys.